Evening, it's 5 o'clock, and closing arguments are now set to begin in the Delphi murders trial tomorrow.
After 17 days of testimony, the case surrounding the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German will soon be in the hands of the jury. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel's been in the courtroom nearly every day since the trial started.
And he joins us now live outside the Carroll County Courthouse with what happened in court today. Bob.
Ann and Felicia, two very memorable statements here on day 17 of the Delphi murders trial. One at the very beginning of the day, one at the very end. At 9:10 a.m. this morning, as soon as jurors had taken their seats, Judge Francis Gall asked defense attorney Brad Rosie to call his next witness. Instead of calling a witness, Rosie said, "Your Honor, the defense rests." That caught everyone off guard, and the prosecutor then scrambled to assemble a few more witnesses he wanted the jury to hear from. The main witness, a psychiatrist who treated Richard Allen while he was in prison. Dr. John Martin testified Richard Allen was mentally stable when he first arrived at the West Correctional Facility in late 2022. But then, in April of last year, he was diagnosed as psychotic with mental health so poor he received involuntary antipsychotic medication. Then the doctor told the jury Allen was no longer psychotic by early May and stayed that way during a time period when the defendant confessed several times to killing Abby and Libby, including on one morning when Allen told the doctor he wanted to apologize to the victims' families. But on cross-examination, the defense team showed the psychiatrist video from the same day he met with Allen and he heard the confessions. In that video, jurors saw Allen look dazed, lethargic, and showing no emotion as he sat motionless, restrained in a chair while receiving medical treatment. The defense team asked Dr. Martin about that video and whether it made him reconsider his position that Allen was not psychotic on the day he confessed. Martin told the jury yes, he might reconsider his opinion, and then he backtracked on that later, giving very different answers based on who was asking him questions. He also told the jury it's possible Allen could move in and out of psychosis within a 24-hour period. The testimony was not the home run that the state had hoped for. Of course, just earlier this week, the defense put on an expert witness who testified that Richard Allen was definitely psychotic and having hallucinations and in very poor mental health during the time period that he confessed to the murders. Putting Martin on the stand today, that was an effort to try to counter that, but his testimony wavered back and forth, and at times he said that Allen was even treated unfairly while he was in prison. So, after that witness, another memorable statement that we mentioned earlier, the judge told the jury this afternoon, "Ladies and gentlemen, you've now heard all of the evidence in this case." Jurors were sent back to their hotel. They'll be back tomorrow morning when they will start hearing the final arguments from both the state and from the defense, and then it will be up to jurors to decide whether Richard Allen is guilty or not. In Delphi, Bob Siegel, 13 News.
All right, Bob Siegel reporting there. Thank you so much. And Bob will also join us at 10 o'clock tonight for our Delphi debrief, along with Samantha Johnson and our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay.
You can watch it on WTHR Plus, which you can find easily on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire Stick.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting.
That's Vice President Kamala Harris speaking to her supporters within the last hour after conceding the 2024 election to President-elect Donald Trump.
She spoke to a crowd at Howard University in Washington, D.C., her alma mater, just about 30 minutes ago, saying while she concedes the election, she does not concede the fight that fueled her campaign.
She also called the president-elect earlier this afternoon, she says, to congratulate him on his victory. She went on to say the Biden administration will assist President-elect Trump with a peaceful transfer of power. After a resounding victory on election night, President-elect Trump is now preparing for his second term in office.
Alice Barr shares how people across the country are responding to his win.
Today, the nation and the world reacting to a clear Trump win.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time.
And the uncertainty it brings for policy shifts at home and abroad. The 45th, soon to be 47th president pivoting from often fiery rhetoric on the campaign trail, promising to help the country heal.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite.
Starkly different reactions from close to half of American voters who supported Vice President Kamala Harris.
This is real. This is the country that we live in, and it has not really progressed.
The vice president called President-elect Trump today to concede and congratulate him. She waged an historically brief campaign, launched to the top of the Democratic ticket after President Biden dropped out in late July. And she failed to capture enough support among white voters, men, and first-time voters who moved to Mr. Trump.
Based on my worldview, he is someone who stands for the things that I stand for.
Very optimistic. I think that the country is in need of repair.
President-elect Trump gained significant support among Black and Latino voters in critical swing states, especially Latino men, favoring him by 10 points after backing President Biden by 23 points in 2020. Clearly undeterred by the Trump campaign's dark framing of the immigration debate. And the economy remained a key motivator across battleground states. The president-elect won back.
We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again.
Again, preparing to lead a divided nation. In West Palm Beach, Florida, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And Trump is moving forward with the Senate shifted to Republican control, which he calls a clear mandate for change. And it was a big day on Wall Street with stocks soaring the day after Election Day. Now, the Dow leapt 1,500 points for its best day in nearly 2 years. The S&P 500 also saw a 2-year high, and Bitcoin jumped to a record high as well.
Here in Indiana, Governor-elect Mike Braun is now sharing his vision for Indiana just a day after winning the office over his challenger, Jennifer McCormick.
And he laid out his priorities for the state this morning while speaking with reporters. Jenny Runovich is here with what he plans to tackle in office.
Well, really those kitchen table issues, guys, that he mentioned during the campaign, especially health care and property taxes. He says not everything will get finished in one legislative session, but he vows to start fast.
The morning after former business owner Mike Braun celebrated a commanding win in the governor's race, he outlined his business plan for leading Indiana.
It's going to be my vision of being an entrepreneurial governor that's going to be conservative on the financial side, but very entrepreneurial on the problem-fixing side.
Braun calls the vision a platter of opportunity filled with kitchen table issues he campaigned on: education, housing, property taxes, and his top concern, health care reform.
It's the one that we have the worst results compared to most other states. If we get that correct, that will singly be better than what we've probably done collectively over many generations of past governors.
The 70-year-old, now leaving the U.S. Senate for the State House, says he'll take ideas from any constituent, any party. But he says the margin of victory for Republicans on Election Day gives him leverage with the legislature. In his first 90 days, he plans to tackle property taxes and look at every state agency for efficiencies and savings.
And it's not going to be hard for me and my team to discern whether it needs major overhaul, minor tune-up, or it's working well.
What about Lieutenant Governor-elect Micah Beckwith's role? The two were a forced coupling. Beckwith was not Braun's pick. And the ultra-conservative pastor and podcaster has focused more on social issues, which Braun says caused division. But both men say this political pairing works.
It's been a benefit in a way because it's kind of brought the party together.
You know, he's got the vision, I've got the energy, and you kind of bring that together, and it's really a dynamic duo.
And it's my job to make sure that the full spectrum of what being a Republican is about in this state is then going to be focused on the kitchen table issues I've been talking about.
Now, today, Braun also touched on potential economic development plans as well. He said he wants to fertilize small businesses, homegrown businesses, as opposed to attracting big corporations only. And that was a bit of a jab to current Governor Eric Holcomb, of course, and the state's Economic Development Corporation. So lots to get to.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much, Jenny, for that wrap for us today. And we've made it really easy for you to see all the election results where you happen to live. You can just head over to our website at WTHR.com/elections. That's where you'll find the key state races, as well as an option to check the results for your county.
Oh, it's going to be a really nice sunset for central Indiana. Already underway. We have temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Right now, 58 degrees in Tipton, 59 at Morris Reservoir, 59 Bunker Hill, and 62 in Noblesville. Pacers in town tonight at home, taking on the Magic. If you're coming downtown, relatively mild evening. Temperatures in the 60s at the bus stop. A little bit of fog early tomorrow morning, then some afternoon sunshine with highs close to 60. I'll have a look ahead to our next rain chance in your forecast.